The year 2020. A year that will forever be remembered in the annals of history. It was a time when the world came to a standstill, and life as we knew it changed overnight. A year etched in history. From the wildfires that ravaged Australia to the global pandemic that brought nations to their knees, 2020 was a year of unprecedented challenges and profound transformations. A global pandemic had the world in its grip. Streets that were once bustling with life became eerily silent. Masks became a ubiquitous part of our daily attire, and social distancing became the new norm. Lockdowns became the new normal. Businesses shuttered their doors, and homes transformed into offices and classrooms. The world adapted to a new way of living, but the sense of isolation was palpable. Fear and uncertainty were constant companions. I needed an escape. The walls of my home felt like they were closing in, and the weight of the unknown was overwhelming. I yearned for freedom, for a breath of fresh air. The wilderness called to me, a sanctuary from the chaos. The vast expanse of nature promised solace and a chance to reconnect with the world in its purest form. The Rocky Mountains, with their majestic peaks and serene landscapes, beckoned. I packed my gear, my trusty survival kit always at the ready. Every item had a purpose, every tool a story. From the compass that guided my way to the knife that had seen countless adventures, I was prepared for whatever lay ahead. Rocky Mountain National Park awaited, a place of unparalleled beauty and untamed wilderness. It was here that I would find my escape, my refuge from the turmoil of the world. The drive was long, the silence broken only by the hum of the engine. As the miles passed, the weight of the world began to lift. The towering trees and winding roads were a prelude to the adventure that awaited. My mind raced with thoughts of the unknown. What challenges would I face? What lessons would I learn? The uncertainty was daunting, but it was also exhilarating. This was a journey of discovery, both of the world and of myself. What dangers awaited me in the wilderness? The thought of wild animals and the unpredictable elements was intimidating, but the call of the wild was stronger. It was a test of my skills, my resilience, and my spirit. I pushed these thoughts aside. I was prepared. I was Bear Grylls. With every step, I felt more alive, more connected to the world around me. This was my escape, my adventure, my story. The air was crisp and clean as I stepped out of my vehicle. Towering pines reached for the sky, their needles whispering secrets in the breeze. A sense of peace washed over me. This was what I needed. This was my escape. I set up camp by a rushing creek, its melody a soothing soundtrack. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. As darkness descended, a campfire crackled, providing warmth and a sense of security. For a while, I was at peace. My phone buzzed, breaking the silence. A text message. Odd. I had no signal here. The message was garbled, nonsensical. Another buzz, another message. This time a photo, my tent, taken from the woods. Fear gripped me. I was being watched. My senses heightened. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig, sent shivers down my spine. The wind howled like a banshee, carrying with it the scent of pine and something else, something unfamiliar. Danger lurked in the shadows. Footsteps, slow and deliberate, approaching my campsite. My heart pounded in my chest. I grabbed my flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness. There, at the edge of the trees, a figure stood watching me. "Who's there?" I shouted, my voice trembling. The figure didn't respond, it just stood there, shrouded in darkness. Then it moved, stepping into the light. A man, tall and menacing. He held a flashlight of his own, its beam blinding me. Fear propelled me into action. The night was eerily silent save for the rustling of leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. My heart pounded in my chest, each beat echoing in my ears like a drum. I knew I had to move quickly, but every step felt like wading through molasses. I reached for my backpack, my fingers fumbling for my survival knife. The cold metal was a small comfort, but I knew it wouldn't be enough. My mind raced, trying to think of what else I could use. The darkness seemed to close in around me, making it hard to focus, but I needed something more, something that would give me an edge, something that would make this intruder think twice. My eyes darted around, searching for any sign of movement. Every shadow seemed to shift and change, playing tricks on my mind, something to deter this intruder. The flashlight in my hand felt heavy, its beam cutting through the darkness but revealing nothing. I knew I had to find something more intimidating, something that would send a clear message, My hand closed around my flare gun, a warning shot. That's all I needed. The flare gun was my last resort, a signal of distress that could be seen for miles. I hoped it would be enough to scare off whoever or whatever was out there. The flare gun roared, its fiery projectile soaring into the night sky. The sudden burst of light was blinding, illuminating the forest in an eerie red glow. For a moment, everything was still, as if the world was holding its breath. The man flinched, startled by the sudden burst of light. His silhouette was stark against the bright flare, and I could see the surprise etched on his face. He hadn't expected this. He hesitated, his face illuminated for a brief moment. In that instant I could see the conflict in his eyes. Was it fear? Was it anger? Or perhaps a mix of both? The light revealed more than just his presence, it revealed his uncertainty. Fear? Anger? I couldn't tell. His expression was a whirlwind of emotions, and I could only guess at what he was thinking. The flare's light began to fade, and with it, the clarity of the moment. Then, he was gone, melting back into the darkness as quickly as he had appeared. The forest swallowed him whole, leaving me alone once more. The night was silent again, but the memory of his face lingered, a haunting reminder of the encounter. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound sent my pulse racing, but the man didn't return. As dawn broke, painting the sky in soft hues of pink and gold, relief washed over me. I had survived the night. I packed my gear, my hands shaking with adrenaline and exhaustion. As I drove away, the rising sun casting long shadows behind me, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. The eyes of the forest followed me. The events of that night left an indelible mark on my soul. It was a night unlike any other, where the boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred. The forest, usually a place of solace and adventure, transformed into a realm of shadows and whispers. Every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig sent shivers down my spine. The darkness seemed to close in, wrapping around me like a suffocating blanket. The fear, the isolation, the feeling of vulnerability. It was as if the forest itself was alive, watching, waiting. The campfire, which once provided warmth and comfort, now cast long, eerie shadows that danced menacingly around me. I felt exposed, like a prey being stalked by an unseen predator. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional hoot of an owl or the distant howl of a wolf. I had faced danger before, but never like this. This was a different kind of danger, one that played on the mind, feeding on fear and uncertainty. The wilderness, which I had always respected, now seemed to mock me. Every shadow, every sound was a reminder of my vulnerability. I was alone, with only my thoughts and the oppressive darkness for company, never so close to home. Who was that man? What did he want? These questions haunted me. His presence was an enigma, a puzzle that I couldn't piece together. Was he a threat, or just another lost soul seeking refuge in the wilderness? The uncertainty gnawed at me, making it impossible to relax. Every moment was a battle between curiosity and fear. Was he just a lost hiker drawn to my campfire, or was there a darker motive behind his actions? The questions swirled in my mind, each one more unsettling than the last. The forest, with its vastness and mystery, seemed to hold the answers, but they remained just out of reach. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that every move I made was being scrutinized. Or was there something more sinister at play? I may never know. The unknown is a powerful force, one that can drive a person to the brink of madness. The forest, with its secrets and shadows, became a labyrinth of fear and doubt. Every step I took, every decision I made, was influenced by the lingering presence of that mysterious figure. The night seemed endless, a never-ending cycle of fear and uncertainty. But one thing is certain, that night in the heart of Rocky Mountain National Park, I was forever changed. The experience left me with a newfound respect for the wilderness and its unpredictable nature. It taught me that even in the most familiar of places, danger can lurk in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. The forest, with its beauty and majesty, also holds a darker side, one that can test the limits of human endurance and resilience. I learned that even in the wilderness, danger can lurk in the shadows. It's a place where the line between predator and prey is often blurred, where survival depends on one's ability to adapt and overcome. The forest is a living entity with its own rules and rhythms, and those who venture into its depths must be prepared for the unexpected. That night I faced my fears head-on, and in doing so I discovered a strength I never knew I had. And sometimes the only thing standing between you and the darkness is the will to survive. It's a primal instinct, one that drives us to push forward even when the odds are stacked against us. The wilderness is a harsh teacher, but it also offers valuable lessons. That night I learned that true strength comes from within, and that the human spirit is capable of overcoming even the most daunting challenges. The scars and echoes of that night will stay with me forever, a reminder of the resilience and determination that lies within us all.